Travis Wayne Goodsell. As you can tell, I did some rearranging, got some other stuff done today. Some personal notes. I went back to look at the email sent by the clerks for the lawsuit, and it says that anything that is filed 30 minutes before the end of day will be sent to my email the following day. Seriously though, it took them all day. If it took them all day, I won't know. I probably find out first online on my docket. Yeah, I'm not sure I like the lighting, but this will probably be the way it is for evening and morning stuff until the sun shines through the windows to lighten the eyes and shadows. But yeah, it's I'm still troubled because the judge is supposed to give the order for my passcode for a specific email filing, and the judge never gave any such order for how I should proceed to file. She never gave an order for service of process. So I had to do the waiver of summons, and so I'm concerned I'm going to be stuck, and they're going to go, screw you. How dare you go up against the church and win? And so yeah, the woman that reached out to me, and I was concerned that she wasn't making contact. Sure enough, she's a fraud. She just wanted to connect on LinkedIn so that she can scam me, and so she's been deleted from YouTube and LinkedIn. So yeah, if you're gonna claim to be somebody's friend knowing that you're a fraud to try to sell people something, be assured they're not going to be interested in whatever you have to buy, even if they're interested in what you have to buy. If you defraud somebody, if you lie to somebody, you're going to get a quick shut the door in your face. That's just the way it is. So you got to be honest and upfront. That's how it works. And those who are interested will be interested. Those who are not interested will not be interested. That's capitalism. Now, in America, and especially in Utah, there's extortion economy. It works a little bit different, but as a regular person, no, you can't use extortion economy on people. They won't fall for that. It's only from their leaders that they are forced to participate in the extortion economy. The other situation is I saw on YouTube Sunday Jess. She did a video yesterday, I believe. Well, yeah, it's recent, probably a new edition. And her video is, she's Mormon, by the way, and I purposely subscribed to her to keep up to date on the millennial generation's thinking processes in the Mormon church. And she's now dumping her boyfriend, who wants to marry her, who's a returned missionary, because she says she's passing up marriage for a mission. Yeah. So everybody is opening up when the coronavirus numbers, especially in Utah, are skyrocketing. 5 days in a row with record-breaking over 200 cases per day. That's high for Utah, which means we're in deep bleep. And yet everybody's saying, hey, we're opening, and nobody's wearing face masks. It's just, I'm now the freak. I'm the only one who will wear a face mask and gloves out in public. And the thing is that they don't protect me from you guys. You guys are now my threat, because you are falling for the trap that everything's safe, it's all clear, it's all gone. You've drunk the bleach, good job. It's like nobody even understands the concept of they're lying to you, you can't trust anything they tell you. And I'm having trouble getting that through to ex-Mormons about the church. Because ex-Mormons are believing the lies that the church has told about the cover-ups and the lies and the deceptions that they've previously told when they were Mormon. And so then the church comes out and says, oh yeah, Joseph did all that. And Mormons believe them and go, oh, he did that? I want nothing to do with this church then, I'm out. You know, like those polygamy sisters, porn sisters. Polygamy sisters that I saw their video over the weekend and made a comment on part 2. YouTube finally is showing part 1, but I'm just not bothered because they're not responding to part 2's comment. So again, they think they know better and are refusing to accept actual facts versus what they like to hear from hearsay to justify doing what they've done. So it's just, it's like screaming in a forest and nobody hears you. Because if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? Technically, the answer is yes if you know about sound waves. But that's how people think that there are ghosts in certain places. They can hear sounds that are reverberating back and forth in the houses. But it's not ghosts. You're just picking up sound waves, radio waves. So the movie Contact, for example, that's how they're able to pick up signals from space and the noise from space that comes from light years away. Is because it just travels on, and it's it's sort of like waves of water. Waves of water die out, though, whereas sound waves continue indefinitely, though they weaken. And so in order to get a stronger signal, you got to go to the source of the initial sound when it occurred. And so the further we go out in space, the louder, the more prevalent it becomes. But I'm just banging my head going, I'm going to be the only one left alive on Earth. And there will be no women. And if there are women, they're not going to want to repopulate the human race. You know, like women say, I wouldn't date you if you were the last man on Earth. So it's sickening. You know, fortunately the protests are still going on outside of Utah. Utah got silenced. Oh, yes, Master. Oh, my Lord and Savior speaks through you, Governor Herbert. And so whatever you say, we're sorry, please don't excommunicate us. Even though you're not the prophet, but you're such a god that, you're going to excommunicate us. And we're bad because we're evil. And the church leaders tell us we're bad and evil. So we're going to stop. So sorry, please forgive us. Don't cast us into outer darkness. Mormons have no guts. Even when Hinckley wrote his book, Stand for Something. And that's why I put the title worded with finally stand for something or something like that. That's what I was referring to. But Mormons just won't stand for anything. Not in the sense of, I'm not standing for it. But they're just sitting on their couch. They're metaphorical couches in their brains. And they refuse to do anything until they're forced to, until their agency is taken away from them. And then they conform and comply. Because we all know here in Utah, if you don't conform and comply, you will be punished. I mean, just listen to Herbert talking about the protests. We will not stand for this. We've got police, we've got SWAT, we've got the National Guard. They're out. They're ready to kill. And the protesters started with good intentions. They came prepared. They got the milk for tear gas in case the police did that. They just gave up. Whereas everybody else, day 7 now, everybody else won't stop. Why did Mormons give up? When is it going to occur to Mormons? Nelson will never follow Amos chapter 3 verse 7. He doesn't speak for God, not the God you're thinking he speaks to. He's speaking to his God, and you don't see it. He's taking away agency. He's flattering, pacifying, deceiving. He's trying to get you to kill yourselves, just like the governors, just like Trump, and you don't see it. You're out and about, you're free, it's all clear. And maybe it's because you've never watched the 1960s version of the Time Machine. H.G. Wells, the movie version, the 1960 movie version. He's they were talking about one war, and I'm not sure if he started into time travel and got to the first war. I think that was the case. So I think he was in a pre-World War I war that had just ended or was going on outside of England where he was, and so when he starts to time travel, he goes to World War I, and then he goes to World War II and sees things haven't changed, and so he's frustrated, and so he just floors it, goes deep into the future, and he sees World War III, that nuclear bombs go off, and hears the nuclear sirens, and Philby tells him, and Philby Jr. I think tells him, oh, it's all clear, that's the sign for all clear. And so when he goes deep into the future, he meets the Eloi and the Morlocks, and the Eloi are cattle for the Morlocks. Morlocks have no interest in fruits and vegetables, but they grow them for them, and the Eloi just pluck them off the trees and go gather at the group diner and eat. In fact, I think it was actually put on the plates for them, as I remember seeing. But yeah, then the Morlock come out at night, right in the evening, and the sirens go off, just like the nuclear sirens sound. And so the time traveler is saying, "Hey, what's going on? What is this? It's all clear. Everything's all clear." And they're just marching like cattle, like sheep to the slaughter, because they go into the building with the statue face on top of it, and yeah, when they get their quota of Eloi, they shut the doors, and the rest of the Eloi wake out of their trance and go back to being sheep. And they don't bother to know where those people went, and they never see the bones. But the Morlock were cannibals. And they were using the history of warfare and the all-clear signal for nuclear siren blasts. And that's what we're experiencing right now. That's, those movies have substance to them. If we're just watching for entertainment and we're not trying to learn from what other writers and directors are trying to tell us, we're missing out. We're not understanding humanity. We're not understanding our role in life. And you'll easily get played. You'll easily get cheated. You'll easily get abused. Like the women who remain in an abusive marriage. They get the hell beat out of them, but, oh, he'll change. He's not like this. Oh, he'll stop. He just, it's my fault. So that's what these government leaders, religious leaders, Nelson, Oaks, business leaders, they're all bullies. They're all trying to murder you right now, and you're doing exactly what a beaten wife is doing. You're doing exactly what Stockholm Syndrome warned everybody about. Stockholm Syndrome was to warn people, hey, don't fall for this. Those in authority, hey, when you recognize somebody with these types of behaviors, they could be in a situation of abuse. When they're kidnapped, Elizabeth Smart, remember her in Utahns? Mormons? She's a Mormon girl, kidnapped at 14 years old to be the bride for Brian David Mitchell, and he raped her. She got pregnant. She couldn't get the abortion here in Utah because she was past term. People just don't see it. See, Brian David Mitchell, yeah, you hate him. He betrayed the church and then committed crimes. So yeah, punish him. Send him to prison for the rest of his life. Death penalty if we can get away with it. But Nelson? Nope. He's our leader. We worship him. Governor Herbert? Nope. He's our leader. We voted for him. He speaks for God too. He's the government leader. He's going to be the king when Trump is dethroned. And we get Deseret restored to us here in Zion, the place of refuge with no rioting. I don't know how my video did about Joseph Smith's prophecy. I made no comments, bad or good. At the end, I did mention about my lawsuit, but I didn't go into any criticism whatsoever, other than with the courts. Because it should be when, not if. but they're forcing it to be an if because they're violating the federal rules and laws for court procedure. Because technically I won according to the laws of the land. Remember Article of Faith number 12? We believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, magistrates, and blah blah blah, and obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law. But it's not corrupt laws. You have to go into the Doctrine and Covenants on government to see that we only follow good leaders. That's what the police, that's what activists, leaders, the news, nobody is understanding, is that the order was corrupt. And instead of disobeying, we will not go out and fight the people who have a legitimate claim, a legitimate concern, a legitimate complaint. We will not go out there in full military dress. And I understand Trump's going to send out the military if it continues. For the first time in American history, the military will be on American soil in direct violation of the United States Constitution. That's why we had militias. They're now long gone. There are still groups that created militias as a club, and they still act and behave like militias. But they're not the original militias that America had. Because the sheriff's department that came from jolly old England, Sheriff of Nottingham, yeah, that's where it comes from. Police departments, sheriff's departments. We didn't get rid of them like we were supposed to in the Constitution. So we have police forces all across America rather than the militia. So that makes for a good TV show. Deadwood. But make it right. But yeah, nobody should be following Trump's orders. Nobody should be following the governor's orders. Nobody should be following the mayor's orders. Nobody should be following the police chief's orders. And if somebody's going to threaten you to withhold funding, as Trump is doing, you say, screw you. You make it known, you expose him. You'll have other governors joining in to help you. And also turn on Trump too. Because you'd be surprised what one good example will do under a corrupt regime. But if people just stand by like Mormons are doing here in Utah and do nothing, you have nothing, no one to blame but yourselves for the inevitable consequences that are coming, Mormons. You know the prophecy. I gave that to you in Joseph Smith's prophecy video. You must flee to Zion. You can't just go out and say, yay, all clear. Oh, grandma died. Oh, my daughter died. Oh, my spouse died. Oh, my friends and neighbors and other family members dead. Everybody's dying around me. Well, that's because they didn't have enough faith in God. Oh, I'm dead. Cut out the crap. And I never read his book, but the title is good. Stand for something. Don't be lukewarm. Ooh, that's from the scriptures. That's from Jesus. Oh, right. You only follow the living prophet. You don't follow the dead prophets, such as Jesus.